Hi again, everybody. I was tagged in the $0 decorating challenge by my sweet daughter over at Glitter and Groceries. I do believe that this tag originated with House of Aqua. I will try to link them both down in the info section. So what I'm going to do today are my shelves behind me, which if you've watched any of my other videos, I decorate them differently for every holiday, and since there isn't a holiday coming up anytime soon, I'm going to change it up a little bit. And I have to say I cheated just a little tiny bit. I went to my mom's house and borrowed some things because I kind of have a theme in mind, but I want to see how it's going to work. So it's still free, but I borrowed them. My mom and I thrift together, so I know what she has and what she's bought, and you know, we constantly are switching things up. So I just want a little disclaimer. I did go to my mother's house and borrow some of her things, so I will show you a quick before, but you can of course watch my 4th of July decorations video. I'm just going to kind of do a pan over what I have going now, and then I will show you what I did after and maybe explain my thought process behind some of the things. So sit tight. Okay, so here is the area that I am going to redecorate. I have 2 bracketless shelves that we purchased from IKEA, but actually my husband trimmed them up for me and added this trim piece because they were a little too long, and of course the IKEA shelves are hollow with some cardboard in them. So he put this trim on and I just painted it to match. So there you go for that. So I'm going to take down all of my 4th of July decor from both shelves and our buffet, and then I will show you what I did. So here are my finished shelves. I apologize for the lighting if it's off. It's pouring down rain again. And you can see the chandelier is always in the way of my shelves. But from the living room, this is the angle that you see. So we will start up here at the top. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I just made these shelf displays with some shelves that I picked up on Sanibel Island on our trip. I had bought the shadow boxes last year at a yard sale. Then down here I have some shells, and these are vintage shells. I think that my grandfather, well, I know my grandfather was in the Merchant Marines in World War II, and I think he actually picked these shells up in his travels. These are some of the things I borrowed from my mother. And what I want to show you here is when I decorate, I like to use odd numbers, 3s, 5s, and 7s. So here I have 3 shells, and let me show you what I did. Let me move these. Because I wanted this shell to be a little higher than the rest of them, I'm going to turn it around here for you. All I did was I used a candle holder as my base. Let's see if I can get this back up here with one hand. And then I just kind of set the shell like that on top of the candle holder so it would give it some height. I'll readjust these later, but I'm just going to put them back up there. So then again, over here, I have these brass birds. I had bought these at a yard sale. There's 3 of them. I think I paid $1 a piece for them. And what I did was I just painted them because the brass was so 1970s. So I just took some acrylic paint and I went ahead and painted them, made them look a little antique-y. So, and then again, I have this really pretty spindly looking shell. And on this side, again with my odd numbers, 3, 5s, and 7s, there's my galvanized tub that I use all the time. Still up there for the nice height. And you see how I like to keep the height kind of consistent right here. This is just a little bit lower, but the eye travels up to the highest point, which would be the flowers. And then I have this Florida plate. And what's cool about this Florida plate is Disney World is not mentioned on here at all. So this plate is definitely from before 1960 something when Disney World came into existence. And then I have this vintage flamingo vase. I didn't put any flowers in it because I like the height. And if you can't tell, my theme is kind of vintage Florida travel. So then we go down to the second shelf and I have this antique fan. Look at how big those spaces are in there. Could you imagine You know, we wonder why we're so protective of our children. Now look, stick your fingers right in there. Take them off. Again, I have another shell on a candlestick because I wanted it for the height. And this is just like a touristy tchotchke dish. It's actually a little pedestal dish, but I put it on its side because I liked how it said Florida with the oranges. And then this needed just a little something in this blank space, so I just put some of my sea treasures right there. And then you travel this way, and I have another shell shadow box. And really all I did was I took my fabulous E6000. I actually laid all the shells out first, laid it down flat, made sure I knew where I wanted everything, and then I just took my E6000 and glued them down. You know, I let them sit for maybe 24 hours. And I made it so it could go long ways or tall, but there's not enough room for it to go tall. So I have that. And then moving down, I have this blue mason jar with the zinc lid, and this little tiny clear mason jar also with the zinc lid. And the big blue jar is all seashells that I and my children have picked up on the beach in our travels. I just love picking up seashells. And then this is full of sea glass, which again, not store-bought. My kids and I picked those up on our travels to the beach. And then a really large shell just to complete that little area. And then moving over, I have a vintage wicker handbag with one of my grandmother's little hair scarves tied to the handle, and these cute cat eye sunglasses. I actually have a kind of a little collection of these since my mother is in the eyeglass business. She always tries to save me these funky glasses because she knows I like them. They don't fit me, or I would try to wear them, but they're too small. So there's the second shelf. Let me see. And then you can see the top shelf right there. And then on my buffet, I kind of concentrated everything right in the middle. This may be hard to film because the dining room table and the chandelier is in the way. But as you can see, I have an apothecary jar full of flat beach stones, and then there is a sand dollar on top. I love flat beach stones. I have no idea why, but I always pick them up. Big, small, odd shapes. I just love them. And then this smaller one are some more seashells in the apothecary jar. Some more of my collection of sea glass in a little dish. And if you notice the height, we start tall in the back, get a little shorter to the side. The plate, again, a vintage Florida plate, no mention of Disney. It's a little bit shorter than the apothecary jar. And then I come up just a little bit with that third bird that goes with the two on top. And then we come down to this brain coral, which is a little bit higher than my sea glass dish. So, and I just put everything in the middle, so both sides here are clear, and it just kind of is like a focal point of the buffet. So let me come this way and see if I can film from another direction without the chandelier. Again, I'm sorry about the lighting, guys. It is just storming here. Let me see if I can get around to the front. So these are my shelves. Again, I borrowed some of the seashells and the plates from my mom, but everything else is things that I have had for years, or bought at garage sales. Nothing, you could probably reproduce this shelf very inexpensively with Goodwill finds. So I hope you like my $0 decorating challenge. Again, I was tagged by my daughter at Glitter and Groceries, but I do believe this tag began with House of Aqua. So if you have not subscribed, please do. Please comment. I love to read your comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.